Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to IRC's round one of Bahrain. Of course, we've had a few races before this. If you haven't seen that, go and check out the previous live streams. But yeah, we are here tonight for the Bahrain Grand Prix Tier 1 as well. So it's a rerun. We'll get back on that real soon, but let's quickly get on with the track guide with ABD and Alex in the combox.
Yeah, welcome to Bahrain Grand Prix. It's a track of 5.4 kilometer long and three DRS zones. Pretty much, it's going to be overtaking done in the second DRS zone. Let's move to the hot lap.
Let's go for a hot lap of the Sakir circuit, rounding the final corner now, thundering down the main straight. DRS open as we cross the line and start the lap. DRS open, dump ERS, all that you can to extract all the top speed that you can. Brake at the beginning of the curb at the left hand side for turn 1. Important traction zone through turns 2 and 3. Try not to lose the rear end and lose too much time as we come to another DRS section here. An important overtaking zone where Hamilton and Verstappen collided. As we go in through turn 4, don't run too wide here as we set ourselves up for the end of sector 1, curving through the S's. Turn 7 and 8 now. Important to get the car rotated well through here. Important traction zone coming out of turn 8, and now we come to a difficult braking zone, the double left-hander of turns 9 and 10. Important to brake as in a straight line as possible. Get the car turned in. DRS open once again down the back straight. As he parts under the DHL board, another important braking zone here and an important overtaking point as well as we come into turn 11. Turn 12 is a long looping left-hander as the Alfa Romeo encounters a snap of oversteer coming through turn 13, and coming now to turn 14, the end of sector 2. Sector 3 begins. Run as wide as possible as we head down a little straight, possibly the final overtaking point before the lap ends. Get the car turned in for the final corner. A short burst to the line. DRS detection point once again, and that is a lap of Bahrain.
All right, so we are back and directly into action as well. The quali is up on right now, and most of the drivers are in pits, setting up their cars for the 17 minutes of qualifying that we're going to have right now. And of course, it's a Bahrain Grand Prix. It's kind of a rerun, so a lot of a few tier 2 drivers also joining the fray today. So it's going to be a fun one, an interesting race for sure, and we're just waiting on the cars to come out on track and set some fast laps in. So ABD, we've already seen a race around Bahrain with, of course, the other tiers as well. What do you think? What's the kind of pace and what's the kind of strategy these guys are going for tonight?
Yeah, it has to be hard to mediums, I believe, and the qualifying is definitely going to be the most important part, given that the safety car is not likely in this track because it's a wide track, so the chances of safety car coming out is very less, and we can see few cars coming out for their out lap, and we do have some wildcard entries from the tier 3, that is Dark Knight driving for Red Bull, Jose Hero for Mercedes, and Hasenberg for, of course, Haas.
But yeah, these guys have joined us tonight for a bit of fun, a bit of proper racing to showcase that they are T1 worthy. But only time will tell if they're able to put in some competitive lap times in. But of course, for the Tier 1 boys, we have Pre the Pro, who was super quick for the first time around in Bahrain, so he's the one guy to look at. Of course, he went from hards to medium, so that does look like the best strategy that you were talking about earlier. And yeah, of course, all of these guys are just going to go on those softs for now. And safety car does look pretty slow over here, so not really, we don't really have the probability of getting a safety car is very, very low. So that's going to be interesting in terms of fuel and how much fuel you're taking in during the race as well. So yeah, overall going to be a fun quali. We are on board Kapil for his first flying lap of the session. Oh.
And he has bailed out while we wait for another driver to start his hot lap. Alex, can we just go through all the drivers just to catch their, if they have enabled the telemetry or not? I'm just doing my coordinator work here, and we see that Black Sheep has already started his outlap, and I believe Kapil is going to do 2 outlap before he is confident enough to go for that hot lap. We did see Real SD, yeah, coming to the point that Swagger Turbo had pointed out. We did see Pre the Pro, Real SD, and even Moto there up in the front battling for that P1. It was a three-way fight for P1 for quite a few laps, and then some incident did happen there, and we see Dark Knight who was spun out on his outlap. Anyways, yeah, it was his outlap. And we see that Moto is not, unfortunately, not available to race tonight. So believe that SD, if he has practiced much, he should be there up front again.
And of course, SD being the the driver FWDC winner of season 9, so it's going to be fun to see if he's able to put in some decent laps in to try and defend that title from the rest of the gang. And yeah, all of these guys just setting up their cars. They have to obviously go through a few sets to get on to the proper pace. So these guys just getting used to the cars. A few spins here and there will happen because of course we don't really have all the assists. So these guys, Black Sheep in the background, setting a 128.5 as the benchmark. But yeah, as I was talking about earlier, these guys do not have the full traction and a few more assists for aiding their lap times and whatnot. So it's going to be just pure pace and pure control of the car. And Pre the Pro going fastest overall already with a 128.2, and Aradhya only 2 tenths behind him, already spicing things up out there.
Yeah, and looks like Black Sheep has also put up a decent lap there, but realized he unfortunately was not quite up to the mark. I'm definitely sure he can do much better in the first run itself. However, he does have enough time to go for the 2 more runs, and we see Helium out on the medium stint. He does do that quite often, and he just goes for the outlap in the ending few minutes. That is on the soft tires.
Of course, Helium being one of the quick drivers as well, so we'll be keeping an eye out for him towards the end because he's done a 130.8, which is not too bad on those mediums, would you say, ABD?
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's a good time. It's a good time, and he can probably it's somewhere between Pre and Aradhya, I would say. Again, the qualifying here is pretty much important. Each position matters here because after that turn 1 and when the DRS zone starts, when the DRS is enabled, it's just the overtaking is comparatively harder. So you just gotta qualify in a better position.
Indeed, and of course with the wildcards entering as well, we'll be able to see some good fights down in the mid pack, and maybe even they can contend for the top positions as well. Only time will tell. But yeah, for now, Pre has a 2/10 lead over Aradhya. Pretty, decent lap very good lap by him as well. But of course, we have seen that these guys can put their cars in that 127 mark. So definitely, with the track ramping up, these guys will be setting quicker and quicker times. And Dark Knight setting a 129.3, and Helium also improved on that medium run and has gone up to 9th with a 129.2.
And we see, unfortunately, Logesh has invalidated his hot lap, so he has decided to pit, and that is his soft tire burned out for the quali. It's probably gonna dip into the third set, depending on the time he has. We'll just see what he decides to do.
Indeed, and of course, all of them again just going for a banker lap. And now that that's set towards the end, maybe let's say 3 minutes left, we'll see a lot more cars coming out of the pits just to put in that fast lap. So gonna be interesting towards the end for sure. And a lot of them haven't really put their laps in because of either invalidation or something like that. But right now Ferrari's looking very strong with a 1 and 3 with just a Haas in the middle of a Ferrari sandwich.
That's a beautiful time from SSJ right there. We see him improve quite a lot in the last few weeks. Even in China, we saw him hold on to that P3 until that safety car came out, and unfortunately we know what happened there. But that's quite an improvement from that driver there.
Indeed. So a pretty decent, start for Ferrari in China as well, with Pri getting pole and of course, winning over there. But yeah, Aradhya and Pri, these are the two guys who have been close to each other on track. So it's going to be fun to see what they can, put on a show for us over here as well, because they were side by side, you know, almost the whole race, even in China before that safety car. So it's a lot of drivers out there to keep an eye out on, because yeah, most of them super quick. That's the reason they are in Tier 1. And yeah, I'm just waiting for the quali, to get closer to finish and get on with the race, because while I'm talking about that, Couple spins it and yeah, just gets out of the way of the Red Bull out there, who was, I think, on a Hotlap. That is very unfortunate for Couple.
Yeah, and he's already out on 3-lap old. I think he has done about 3 to 4 laps, including an out lap. So it's about 3 to 4 lap old tires. Not sure what he's trying to do. His ERS also looked like he was on a hot lap, and now we are on board Lokesh, who is on his second run for the hot lap.
Again, DRS is wide open, and he did invalidate the lap before, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can put this Red Bull. We know that he has the pace for the top 5, but let's see if he can put this Red Bull up there with the fast guys, and where he just ends up. So right now the whole lap does look pretty clean for him. He is putting the power down, hasn't made any mistakes yet, and of course he hasn't really set a lap, so we don't really know where that Red Bull will go. His teammate right now is in 11th, and yeah, doing a pretty good job in Tier 1, don't you think, ABD?
Yes, definitely. That's a good position for now, and I'm pretty sure he can definitely improve. But the problem here in the race is that I would say the difference between a Tier 1 and Tier 2 driver, the main difference is the consistency that they have to bring here. There is literally no room for error when you're racing in Tier 1. So this is the one thing that Tier 1 driver has to, perfectionate before he can race here. So that's one thing that they have to be very careful about. There's literally no room for error, and we did see Lokesh having 2 purple flags, but 2 purple sectors, and now we're gonna see where he is gonna put that Red Bull there. He does improve by a good time. He goes to P5, just like Sagar said, in the top 5. That's a decent time. It was his second run, but I'm pretty sure he can improve again.
Indeed, I did call it that he does have the pace for top 5, and there we go. He does have it. So, and as you were saying, consistency is the key over here. And Heisenberg, who is actually in Tier 2, doing a very good job, and even beating a few of the T1 drivers. But again, it all comes down to consistency. And while I'm talking about consistency, that Ferrari of Pri is just putting in some consistent laps in, and a 128.0 is the benchmark now. So 4 tenths from Aradhya, who is out on track right now, of course. And this is going to get interesting towards the end, because Helium is also out, and he's on a new set of soft tires, and coming up to the line right now, taking the curb beautifully, and coming up to the line now, he sets a 128.086. That's the closest margin we've had till now. Can Aradhya improve and slot his car in front of these two?
Yeah, and we see the 2 Mercedes close. Okay, they do have some gap. It looks like they're going to be very close, and it looks like Jose is on a hot lap right now, and Helium has done that lap. It's very close, like we had discussed that he would be somewhere around Pri, and it's a very close call. Even Aradhya has also improved by a good amount, a fair amount, and about Heisenberg, there has been a lot of talks that we wanted to push him to Tier 1. This race is gonna give us some idea where that decision is going to go.
We have seen in the previous seasons as well that there are a few drivers who do, just get promoted to a different tier altogether. So yeah, it's going to be fun, and we'll just have to see what happens in this race. because as you were saying earlier, these guys need to be consistent in during this race, especially with those assists off. And we can see that both the Mercedes are working together a little bit to try and just give each other a little bit of a DRS or maybe even a slipstream. And Jose, who's also a T2 driver, putting in his lap now, and let's see where he ends up, because the lap time doesn't really look that quick, but it's still, I think, going to be a pretty decent lap to put him somewhere close. Maybe not. He's 14th right now, right behind Dark Knight. And again, we still have Kapil and Baba who haven't really set a lap yet.
Yeah, and few of the drivers coming back into the pits to recharge the fuel, get to the final set of those softs and go for the final run. There are few drivers. I'm guessing they're just going to go in the pits right now. And yeah, by looks like it, the real SG is on a hot lap now, and this should be his final lap if he is on a hot lap.
Indeed, and yeah, just talking about the top three, all of them putting in some fantastic laps in. And again, Kapil was on 5 laps used soft tires, so he is coming out of the pits it's really soon. And he also could be a person to watch out for, because he was he did put on a very good show even in China by just staying consistent right behind Black Sheep, and yeah, getting some good points for that Alfa Romeo of his as well.
Yeah, it was good positioning by him. Oh, and there we go. Real SC coming out of nowhere, getting that whole position as of now. I'm in the P1 for now, but I do not think that he can hold on to it. Yeah, he has given up. That he knows that this is his final lap. He cannot go for another run here. And I'm guessing that he might be somewhere at P4. That is if Aradia cuts him.
Yeah, of course, Breathe Pro, Helium and Aradhya still have 1 lap left that they can go out for towards the end of this quali session, and things are not over yet. SD, as I was talking about earlier, 27 is very easy for these guys to get there, but again, track ramping up, it's going to be, I guess, SD can go for another lap here by recharging his batteries. We just have to see what's going on, and SSJ in the background has spun out, and I think he was on a hot lap. This is not going to help him with anything right now.
Yeah, he's gonna start with the hot lap right now, but he does not have that maximum speed. It's definitely gonna hurt him, but I believe he has enough time to, just cut that hot lap off and go for another run.
But those fresh tires are not going to be fresh anymore, because he's done a spin. Even, it's like, yeah, it's not really gonna help him improve that lap. If he does, fair play to him. It's going to be amazing, to see these guys towards the end.
Okay.
And Bree is out right now on an out lap, obviously. So, yeah, maybe they can use a bit of slipstream to help each other out, just like the Mercs were doing. A bit of team play. We'll just have to wait and watch out.
But the problem here is both of them are going to be at the hot lap in the same lap. They're gonna start. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, and we see SG retire in the pits because he is done with the quali time. He's just gonna wait and see how the quali goes.
So to be fair to SD, he has set a blistering lap time right there, and Black Sheep is out of the session. He has also retired. Maybe a bit of strategy going on there, or something like that, because we don't really see Black Sheep just retiring early, but I guess he didn't have the time to go out for yet another lap. That's the best lap that they have said. Of course, they have a long race ahead of them, which they can just come back from there. So yeah, we are on board Pre the Pro, who had provisional pole. SD took it from him. The gap is super close between these guys. Let's see what Pre can do, and can he get his pole position back from SD or not. Okay, so we have, I think everybody had some mic issues, but yeah, pretty decent lap from SD to get pole. But Viera, we are right on board with Pre the Pro right now.
He goes wide. He goes wide. He has invalidated his lap, and he's gonna move out of the track. He that was very close, and that's just unfortunate. So SG is gonna keep that position against Pre the Pro. That's good for him. And we are on board Aradia, who has green sector 1 right now, and he is definitely using all of the track available for him. And we see Pre's car ahead of sorry, Aradhya just moving out and getting a better exit on that sector 2. He is definitely up on his time, and we just have to wait and see where he is gonna get, if he's able to get Pre in his final run.
It is going to be a very, very good chance for Aradhya to put that Haas on pole right now, because he does have the pace. He is setting a very good lap. He does have the purple second sector. So this could be the lap where Aradhya snatches pole away from SD. Pre the Pro, the track extension is being a big issue for him. But yeah, coming down to the last turn and just a run to the line right now. Can he get the fastest lap? And he just misses out on pole by not even a tenth actually in between them. And SD has pole position right now. Of course, we have the likes
Helium.
of Helium, who can maybe take this, from SD. But other than that, I don't
Nah.
really see anyone on track who can take pole right now.
Yeah, it looks like Helium has a red sector 2 as of now, but a good sector improvement in sector 1. We just have to see the net difference in that. And oh, was there a spin there? And Helium does improve by a bit, but not in terms of position. He's gonna keep a hold of that position P4, and we see Hasenberg invalidating his lap. The Banat is already into the pits, and that is qualifying for Tier 1 Bahrain Grand Prix. We can see that the real SG having that blistering lap about 4 minutes to the quali, and unfortunately none of them has improved to that, and Aradhya somehow got that P2 and missed out on that P1 position by a very small margin.
Indeed, it's only a tenth difference between the top 4 right now. So it's again, the race is going to be extremely interesting because all of them very, very close to each other. It's just all down to consistency now, and we'll just have to wait and watch out for these guys. Of course, both the Ferraris are in the first 3 grid slots, so there could be a little bit of helping each other out with different strategies and stuff. Of course, it's up to them to decide that, but overall a very, very good lap by SD literally just put that lap in and retired instantly because he knew that that's a very good lap and he can hold on to pole position with that.
Yeah, it was. Can we just quickly catch the quali results as well, Alex? Scroll down once again. Yeah, thank you. Can you scroll up? Okay. Yeah, thank you. So we're just gonna read out the results. Real SG getting P1, Aradhya on P2, Pre the Pro P3, Helium gets P4, and completing the Ferrari P5. That is for SSC Assassin, and we saw Black Sheep on P6. It's a great quali by everyone there. We can see the top 5 are separated within 1/10 of a second, and now they're going to be separated by 0.5 seconds at least on the grid.
Indeed, and again, Heisenberg doing a very good job of putting that Haas in P9, actually in front of the couple of T1 boys. We'll just have to see if he's consistent enough to stay in front of them. And the likes of the other 2 Tier 2 boys, it is Dark Knight and Jose, who are, I think, 14th and 15th, if I'm not wrong. So it's going to be interesting turn 1. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see who comes out on top right in front of right after turn 1. So yeah, it's like whoever is in front doesn't really mean that they'll win, because of course we have DRS to take into account and a lot more than just overtaking each other. So we'll have to see who's better on the tires as well and what kind of strategy they go for, because of course we can go with medium and hards or even hards to medium. So going to be interesting race start for these boys.
Yeah, we did see Pre start with a different or alternate strategy, as we say. We saw him do that in China, starting on mediums, pulling away from all the drivers from the rest of the grid. And that did work. While that did work out, we are pretty sure it's not a consistent strategy to, rely on. He did have to rely on his teammate SSJ, and he can do that yet again because he also has qualified on a good position this race. So we are basically waiting for the drivers to load their setup to set their race strategy, and we shall be up and away in 20 seconds.
Indeed, and as you're saying earlier, it is right about time for the race, and oh boy, am I excited for this because we did have, like the China was perfect, a late safety car, a lot of different strategies out there, and till the end, just Spree did not want to pit from hards to softs, and yeah, just the other guys did go for softs, but yeah, it's fire red lights in Bahrain and lights out, and away we go. SD getting a pretty decent launch, and Aradhya already overtaking SD going into turn 1, and Pre the Pro making it 3 wide. SD losing a few positions already, SSJ up a position, and Real SD is down to P3, whereas Aradhya in front with just Pre right behind him, and it's been a pretty decent and clean lap from all the T1 boys.
Yeah, until the second turn, there was a hefty amount of delta there for quite a second, but somehow everyone is in line. Aradhya getting a good start because he has started on the mediums tire. He's the only driver to start with mediums in that in the top 9 over there. We see Pre also sticking on those hards to start with.
Indeed, a very blistering, lap by Aradhya right there. SD just getting caught out little bit by almost both the Ferraris because SSJ is right on the tail of Real SD right now, and Aradhya needs to put in some consistent laps in and get out of the DRS range before lap 3, otherwise he would be in a lot of trouble indeed.
Yeah, and we see some position swapping between Simply and Baba there. It's happened quite a few times right now, and they are very close to each other. While we see that the starting grid is separated almost by a second. The difference between the P1 and P2 is almost about a second there. And can we have the in-game telemetry, just to see who is very eager to, just spam the ERS at the restart itself.
Indeed, and the few gains and the losses were by Haas and Heisenberg, who actually lost out on 6 positions, whereas Kapil doing a pretty good job of overtaking his teammate and yeah, getting that Alfa Romeo up to P. And while I'm talking about that, there's a huge crash in the background, and while I'm talking about Kapil, he has spun out of turn 3, I believe.
And that is Black Sheep. Oh! If
yeah,
I
we did see Black Sheep. No, Black Sheep did get beached on the gravel, so I guess he was automatically, just reset to track.
Yeah, he would have been disqualified if he had not done that. And he has lost good amount of time there because his car was stuck on the curb there, and Kapil getting the commentator's curse there. He has now dropped down to 4 positions from where he had started.
So yeah, from being the maximum gainer to the maximum loser in not a lot of time. Black Sheep again, yeah, he had a very decent first lap. I think,
Jose has a lime green wing damage. Can we go on board Kapil and Black Sheep just to check how bad the situation is? Kapil has a green wing, so I guess he has spun out, and I don't think Black Sheep has the telemetry enabled. Yeah. And we see SSJ Assassin already up to P3, so SD losing one more position out there. The Ferrari is up on P2, P3, and it looked like SSJ was slowing down a bit just to get that inside. And we have 3 cars fighting for that P3 there. SSJ has to defend from 2 cars of Real SD and Helium. DRS is going to be enabled. Oh, it's already enabled because it is lap 3. Yeah.
It's going to be a very tough task for SSJs to slow these guys down and just keep them behind. Of course, he did overtake SD just now. So, again, but these guys have DRS now enabled, so yeah, a lot of ERS going to get used here and there. Helium on 94% ERS. He hasn't really used ERS yet, and we know that he has the pace for the podium. And in the background, while we are talking about this, Jose getting a 5-second penalty, speeding into the pit lane. So that's not going to help the other Mercedes at all.
Yeah, and we still see Simply and Baba switching positions there. They're still fighting for that position, P11. And Simply sending it down the inside. The advantage of DRS kicking in here, and Simply gets a position for now till we have the next DRS zone. And then we can see Baba probably trying for that position to get that position back. While we saw that the three cars fighting for the P3 here, Pre has gone away. Pre has pulled out away by quite a few margins here, and the delta is increasing by. It has already increased by a good amount there, and he's definitely going to hope that the fight continues.
Indeed, this is perfect defense driving by SSJ as well, keeping SD and Helium behind them. And we did see the fight between Simply and Baba right behind, and both of them on very low ERS. So we can already see that fighting each other
Simply
is going
bend.
to, yeah, and a lot of fighting side by side going on right now as well. SD and SSJ going side by side throughout this whole section here, and SD just about taking that position off of him, and Helium just waiting behind to try and take that position of maybe both of these drivers while they are fighting. Helium having the most ERS right now in this fight, so again it's going to be super easy, and actually not super easy to overtake because of the DRS. They can just save up a little bit of ERS as well, and yeah, just attack when the cars in front are vulnerable.
That was a very good aggressive move there, and while we were on that, Simply has lost 3 positions. He looked like he had spun out there, and just after that we saw Baba spinning at the in the sector 2, and he also has lost few positions there. We see Dark Knight, and Dark Knight is within the DRS, and there are, as of now, we can see there are 2 DRS trains where people are, just cruising in.
Indeed, we did see a DRS train form in the last race in China as well, and Helium going for a move down the inside this time, and SSJ does not really have anything to, just push him wide. They're still going side by side into turn 2 and 3, and Helium has made the move stick. So SSJ getting a very weird exit, and he did go spin.
He's fun at the exit. It looked like there was a bit of contact, but yeah, his exit was a bit sketchy there. We didn't have a good view, so we're definitely not going to comment on that. But yeah, his car positioning. Yeah, well, that's a position up for Helium there, P4, and we did see something in the back of the grid. I think it was Kapil and Baba switching positions again.
Baba has been doing a lot of racing, and of course, using a lot of ERS as well to keep this position, and he knows that the guys in front, Kapil as well as the 2 T2 boys who are doing extremely well right now, keeping it consistent, not really spinning out. Props to them. But yeah, Baba knows that these guys can be overtaken, and he will be putting some pressure on Kapil to try and get closer to these guys because they are already 5 seconds off of Heisenberg. And of course, top 15 get points in IRC. So right now, till Black Sheep, everyone is going to get at least 1 point.
Yeah, and speaking of the tires, we should. It's the time we have to look at the tires of everyone, and we see Aradhya. We know Aradhya had started on the mediums there, and it is continuing to prove that it's the best tire out there. No doubt, Pre is able to, not lose much of a time. I would say Aradhya has to do much more. He has to utilize more of that medium stint that he's doing right now because he's in the clean air right now, and Helium is also pretty much happy to be within the DRS of real SD now, and the second stint is going to be definitely spicy.
Indeed, can we just quickly take a look on Aradhya and Pre's ERS? on that, Aradhya having a very wide exit, and he has been using quite a lot of ERS to, make the gap bigger, but it did come down a little bit because of a small error by Aradhya. So the gap between both of them was around 2.7, which has already come down to 2.3. So Pre would have definitely seen that, gap disappear a little bit at least, and would have seen that error by Aradhya. And yeah, these medium tires will get, pretty worn out real soon. And I think by lap 13 or so, the medium runners will have to come and pit.
Yeah, rightly said. It's the lap window, the pit window is around lap 13, and the advantage that the hard runners are going to have is that they can just they can wait or even extend the stint for by a lap or two and just wait for the safety car if there is any. And we are on board Helium, who has closed down the gap and might just think of getting that position off from Real SD in a lap or two soon.
Indeed, to be very honest, these guys are already 4 seconds, away from Pre, who is in a very comfortable P2, right behind Aradhya. So both of them will have to start working with each other than, against, to try and close down that gap. And again, we still have so many different fights going on throughout the field. Right now it is Baba right behind Kapil. We have seen that for a couple of laps now. And yeah, overall, a pretty clean race till now. Not many contacts, but yeah, just a few spins here and there. But overall, a very clean, no safety cars yet.
Yeah, the point that you have brought up is a very good one. Like, they are working out together to get Pre here, and that is seen. We see SSJ Assassin sending it down the inside, getting a position up against Ninja Zero there. That was a good move. He kept it steady. Now he has to make his way up by overtaking, by doing that quite a few more times there.
Indeed, we did see SSJ just having a movement and spinning out a little bit, but he did well to catch that car, and he's in a DRS train now. So it's going to be hard for him to make any moves because of that DRS train, because every single guy in front already has DRS, and so does he. So he will have to play this strategically and try and make a charge back the field, maybe towards the end of his first stint.
Yeah, and the bravest person to try to and go for the undercut is definitely going to be rewarded for sure. Whoever decides to pit like within 15 laps is, I would say the undercut is a good strategy. We see Baba's car wiggling around the exit of that turn, and he keeps it steady for that zone.
Indeed, and Baba does, is was right behind Kapil, but I think he made a slight mistake because he is out of the DRS range now. So Banat doing a pretty decent job on those mediums as well, right outside the DRS marker of Akash. So this actually might help SSJ a little bit to try and catch up to, Akash, overtake him and get close to Banat, because the gap is pretty close between them. And Banat only 1.5 seconds behind Logesh, who's in that fight for the P3. So again, very, very close fights going on for all these guys.
Yeah, they are separated by a second there, and it's about ERS management right now. They just have to, keep on pushing those consistent times, and we see Helium go for that move there. He did lose some time in the last lap. He was about 0.9 seconds off from SG. Now he is able to overtake him and get that P3 as of now. And now it's Real SG who's going to be cruising in his DRS.
Indeed, and we see that SD getting super close, with Helium as well. Of course, he just did make the overtake right now, but he is not the kind of person to let that through. He will surely make a charge for P3 because he was very, very close with these guys. He was on pole. He knows he has the pace. He just has to be consistent with it. And we see a driver just going slowly, and that is Logesh. Logesh having a movement in the background and already has lost 2 positions, I think, to Akash. So now Nayan spins again.
Oh, that was a scary sight for SSJ there, but Logesh is losing some good positions there. He has lost around 3 positions in one sector there. Not a good Just unfortunate for him. He spun out and then just lost traction at that exit. And we see SSJ Assassin getting the most of it. And we see some contact between Ninja and someone has. Okay. We see SSJ up to P7 there. And his next target would be that P6 of Akash.
I did see that SSJ was right behind, and again, it was almost like a mirror move of Ninja, SSJ on Ninja that they had earlier. But SSJ did have a hampered run on the straight, had to use a bit of DRS to stay, next to Ninja, and I think Ninja just spun out on the turn because if you do put your foot down, you can spin out over there. So we'll just have to see, the stewards will have to see after the race what exactly happened. That's completely up to them. But yeah, getting back on board right now, Akash actually getting very close to Banat because of the mistake that Logesh had. Even Banat was slowed down, and that has cost Logesh quite a lot of time and quite a lot of positions because he's down to P9 behind his teammate now, and losing yet another position while we speak. Man's down to P10.
Yeah, and he's losing time off to him, and it looks like he just had a bad exit yet again. I'm not sure what's happening with Logesh there, but that consistency part is definitely kicking in right now. And SSA is also closing down on Akash, but Akash does have the advantage of the DRS that he is in within the Panat's car.
Indeed, Banat has been doing pretty decent on those mediums, but yeah, we see Ninja and Kapil going side by side yet again on the same part of the track, and this time no one spins out and it's pretty clean. So Kapil right behind Ninja and is obviously trying to go for a move, and we're seeing another move over here on the other Alfa Romeo. Akash going down the inside of Banat, and I think he's going to make this move stick, and he does. So Banat will have a chance to come back at him with DRS down the next straight, and he does. He's pretty low on ERS, but can he go for a move down the inside? He does look for it, he goes for it, and they're going side by side through the next turns as well, going into the sector 2 really soon. And pretty clean between those guys. SSJ right behind them, trying to, gain some positions, but good job there by Akash to overtake Banat, whose tires are slowly wearing out.
Yeah, it is definitely the time for yeah, and we see Baba retiring in pits there. He did spin twice in the last turn, but okay, we're good to go. The mediums are definitely dying. The pace loss we've seen that we have observed, the Bharat's car not able to defend against Akash, and it's just a matter of few laps where the pit window is just going to open up for him.
Indeed, and in front, Aradhya has a 4.7 second gap now, so a pretty good job by him as well. While we are just looking at simply catching up to Black Sheep here, but yeah, a very good job there by Aradhya. He did have to get the pace going, get faster and faster over time, and he has done that because there's a 4-second gap to pre, and that's not a small gap at all. It's going to be hard for these guys to just get that gap back even on those mediums. And we see Heisenberg, Kapil and a few other drivers just swapping places around. SSJ has gone up to P6 and Banat is down to P7 now, and Kapil and Ninja as well, just going side by side, just making few overtakes here and there, and overall a very, very entertaining evening already.
Yeah, and the battle between Akash and Banat has led given a chance of SSJ to come within the DRS of Banat, and we have seen that SSJ got the position from Banat, and he is now on the move to get that P5 again where he had qualified at the start. He's probably gonna get at the start of the next lap, and we just have to he just has to back out and stay as close as he can, wait for and just get a better exit than Akash, and that should be more than enough for him.
Indeed, and we can see that he's not really using that much of ERS to overtake Akash right now. He's just sitting on 59% ERS, whereas Akash is only on 21. So a pretty wise move there by SSJ. for just saving his ERS for maybe a straight where he is super close to him, because right now he's just using a bit of ERS. DRS is going to help him out to make this move on Akash. He has a lot of ERS to defend from him as well, and go and take his P5 off of Akash. He does look for a slight second to go down the inside, but is going around the outside now, and again he will have the DRS this time around as well. He does use a bit of ERS right now. We just saw that Akash is super low on ERS, a pretty box standard move by SSJ, but Akash is coming back at him a little bit and has lost the position, and Banath right behind Akash as well.
Yeah, and there was the time. That was a perfect time. SSJ literally waited for Akash to make a mistake. It looked like Akash missed the breaking point, and he went a bit wide, and thereby optimizing the better exit that SSJ had got. And we are on board Couple and Ninja. They have been also fighting quite a few laps. The Couple is holding just behind of Ninja, and he is unfortunately unable to get that position from him.
But Ninja a little bit squirrely coming out of the exit, so this is a decent chance for Couple to get back at him and at least close the gap on him and try a move on the main straight. So only 15 drivers left in this race, and if all of them finish, they will all get points because the top 15 get points in IRC. So again, Aradhya has pit. Aradhya has gone into the pits. So it's a 14th lap, so he has taken those tires for I think one extra lap than the race, the game recommends. But right now it's going to be Pre's chance to actually put in some fast laps in to try and get that position off of him, because we saw a 4.7 second lead of Aradhya. And now it is time for Pre to just put in those laps and try and make this try and make these hards to mediums strategy work.
Yeah, and while we were on that, Ninja was very close to cutting the pit lane entry there. It looked like he was on the line, but again it was very close. And now that was a good move that Aradhya had decided to pit. We just have to see how it works, because he didn't try to overextend it, and that is the kind of strategy that you want to keep here in Bahrain at least.
Indeed, and again he was the race leader, and he's right now around 3 seconds behind Heisenberg. So not a very bad strategy by him, because he had a very good gap, and it's only Heisenberg in front of him, so it's his own teammate. And of course there'll be a bit of team orders, and yeah, they won't really fight that hard with each other. So I guess Aradhya won't really lose that much time compared to the guys in front. And right now Banath is just straying out because he has DRS. So again, his tires will be going off the cliff really soon. So he will be pitting in the next at least 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah, it definitely has to pit. We can see the color difference in his car there. It was very darkish, and bit of lag here on Ninja Zero's car, and we see Kapil has got that position. He's definitely going to defend it against Ninja, who decides to break pit late and sends it. Bit of tap from Kapil, but both of them keep it clean, and Ninja comes out ahead of him, and he is the one who has DRS again. That's interesting.
I think Ninja is on a lower wing setup, because he had a lot of pace on the straight even though he didn't have DRS, whereas Kapil had the DRS open and still was just going side by side with him. So a very decent move by Kapil right there, but Ninja will have yet another chance to get back at him with maybe a lower wing setup. And Simply and Black Sheep in the background have caught up to these guys over here, so a potential chance for these guys to make a comeback. And Black Sheep goes wide there, allowing Simply to get closer and closer to him. He does have the DRS, but both of them do right now, because this has become a small DRS train. And oh boy, both the McLarens are super close to each other, and Pri has pit. Pri the Pro going
there
for...
is the undercut. There is the undercut that we were talking about. uh, pitting in lap 15. He has done that's a good decision, I would say, and even SSJ has decided to pit. Nobody is kind of waiting there for the safety car, and even Aradhya would be waiting, would be praying that there is no safety car at least for 3 laps. Otherwise, these hard runners would have gotten a free pit stop.
Indeed, and Helium had set the fastest lap of the whole race. So Helium is on the charge right now. He knows that the top two have already pit. Real SD in the DRS zone of Helium. So the top three are actually super close, and even top four for that matter, because Aradhya has pit. And the gap has gone down drastically. It's only a 2-second gap between Aradhya and Pre the Pro. Right now, it's only, it's Pre's race to lose right now because he's only 2 seconds behind on a fresh set of sauce. The better tire towards the end, lesser fuel, and can they make it till the end is the only question and the only thing that Pre has to take care of now.
Yes, definitely, and him pitting. That was it looked like it was a coordinated move, or probably SSA was just waiting for Pre to pit, and he also decided to pit there. I'm not sure if he has lost some time. We do know that the delta was decent enough for them to not lose the time. And surprisingly, Real SD getting the fastest lap on the worn hards, that is 16 lap old right now, and we it looks like they're gonna switch positions. Helium and SD are very close to each other, and Lokesh has decided to box, and it looks like others are just waiting for the safety car to come out.
Indeed, and Pre did just pit, so I think he's trying to make undercut work. But Helium and SD, both of them, just setting the fastest lap in the very consecutive laps after he pits. So maybe they were just caressing those tires and are just completely sending it now because both of them super quick. And I don't think Pre and Aradhya have that kind of pace to match right now because they're either very close to the fastest lap, or these guys, Helium and SD, were just waiting for the top two to pit and then show their real pace.
Yeah, and while we were at it, Simply has lost another position because he had spun, and SSC getting the most out of it. He is going to get that P10 as of now, who is net P4, I would say.
I think P5.
P5, yeah.
Because Helium and SD have to pit now, and of course we have Aradhya and Pre who have already pit. The gap already down to 1.4 seconds, so Pre definitely putting the heat on Aradhya, and the only thing that Aradhya can hope for now is that these hard tires go till the end and the mediums just fall off the cliff real soon.
Yeah, and that undercut definitely worked out for Pre there because he decided to pit a lap earlier than his strategy says so, and yeah, there we see him getting the fastest lap, which speaks of pretty much everything. And we see Helium has decided to pit as he is going to keep the lead for now.
Indeed, and with that fastest lap, he's in the DRS zone of Aradhya, so things are going to get super spicy. Aradhya going for the standard medium to hard strategy. Is that going to help him, or is even Helium and Real SD, who is taking these hard tires to a very long part of this race, can he make a huge influence towards the end of this race? Because again, he will be on those softer and faster mediums, so it's going to get interesting towards the back end of this race.
Yes, definitely, and the cold tire is not really working out well for Helium as of now. He's as of now losing time to Pre, but we should see that Delta stable for a few laps and probably gain on Pre. We just have to wait and see. But Pre is definitely having the advantage of the DRS from Aradhya. Aradhya is definitely feeling that pressure there.
Indeed, and of course the gap is down to 0.6, so only 6 tenths between Aradhya and Pre, but Heisenberg is staying out and helping Aradhya get that toe, and yeah, just staying in front. Aradhya going side by side now, and he does go into the pits. Aradhya and Pri, this is for the lead, and Pri has taken the lead off of Aradhya. Both of them have DRS, and Aradhya can have a one shot at this title for for P1, because he will have DRS here. Very, very low on ERS though, only 8%, not going to help the cause of him, just staying in front. If Aradhya can stay right behind Pri on those hards, there's going to be a chance for him to just keep that car right behind and maybe stay away from Helium and SD behind.
Yeah, that's the best scenario for him. Just get the advantage of the TRS, and we see Black Sheep and Ninja going side by side in turn 2, turn 3 there, and Black Sheep coming out ahead of Ninja there. Ninja, who has not done yet, is gonna does have the being pushed off wide, and he gets a warning for that, and Black Sheep is gonna keep the position for now.
And these guys have been fighting the whole race. We saw Kapil versus Black Sheep, Ninja and him, Simply and Baba. A lot of different, just fights going on all over the race. So a very, very interesting race till now. And again, we still have 10 more laps of this. Pri getting that first position and had a very decent amount. So yeah, overall it's going to get interesting towards the end. A bit of lag there, Alex. I just hope that's fixed real soon.
Yeah, fixed.
But yeah,
it looked like something happened there. Helium has lost the delta. He is. I'm not sure if the delta is correct, but from what we can see, it's up to 6 seconds. He was already. Is this leader or interval?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is interval. He was down to 3.4 seconds, and suddenly it's up to 6 seconds. I'm not sure what happened there, but he has definitely lost the time, and we are. The the delta is definitely not changing. The interval time is not changing. Can we just change to leader and get back to interval, Alex?
Indeed, and SD doing a pretty good job of getting close, back up to Helium. He did try and go for the overcut. Unfortunately, it did not work for him. But he does have fresher mediums right now, so he has to just put in those fast laps in, of quality type laps in, and get closer to Helium, because right now Aradhya is in a very, very comfortable spot in the DRS zone of Pri. Of course, very low on ERS still, and so is Helium. Even Helium is very low on ERS. He's at 20%, whereas we did see that Pri had almost 50%. So a very different kind of ERS strategy game going on between these guys, but it is really working out for Aradhya, because he's right behind Pri in the DRS, just getting advantage of that, and we see Real SD setting a fastest lap of this session till now.
Yeah, and I think the difference between the previous fastest lap to this is within thousands. I would say it was pretty much the same, and the delta is thankfully fixed, and we see Helium reducing the time on Aradhya. Aradhya, despite having the DRS of Pri, who's pretty much gonna lose out to that privilege in few laps, and has a lot of more work to do. While we're on that, we see Black Sheep has spun out, and yeah, he is bent into the wall. And I would say, I think he definitely has some damage there. They were side by side, and yep, some contact probably that led Black Sheep.
That's just unfortunate for him, because maybe it's just a setup issue or something, because we've seen his car going into the wall twice now, and both the times, I don't know if it was driver error or maybe just a setup, but sometimes it's just not your day, and it definitely isn't Black Sheep's day today. But getting back on the top 4, SSJ is pretty much, in P5 right now. Akash, very, very close to him actually. So he has to fight for that P5. And if you just look at the timesheets right now, Helium and SD both almost 3 seconds apart from each car in front. So it's going to be hard for these guys to actually, just get closer, because Aradhya is getting an amazing tow right behind Pri the Pro. And can we just quickly just check on Aradhya and Pre the Pro's ERS as well. And yet again, I think, has this covered because he has a decent amount of ERS. These guys have been battling out in the previous races as well, and both of them know how each of them actually, fight. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And all the T2 boys also doing a very good job of being in the top 10.
Yeah, when we see the tier 2 fight there between Dark Knight and Heisenberg, let's put some limelight on them as well. They also have been doing some decent job so far. P9 and P10 here with been good. The strategy they have worked out pretty much good for them so far. And while we were on that, I'd like to point out that Real SD has definitely lost some good. I'd say he lost 3 seconds to Helium himself. Helium itself, like they both were very close to each other, and the Real SD decided to pit about 2 laps later to him, and he just came out 3 seconds with a huge 3 second delta. So that definitely did not work out for him.
Indeed, Bahrain is a track where an undercut does really help quite a lot. So yeah, Pre making the right decision at least till now, and Aradhya getting a 3 second penalty. So this could spice the whole race up because Helium is 2.6 seconds behind Aradhya. And yeah, Aradhya needs to try and push even more now to just keep that position, at least keep a podium. So right now he will have a podium because SD is behind, and Khas Heisenberg going for a move on Dark Knight, and they're still going side by side, and he does make the move stick, gets the DRS again, and a very decent move by Heisenberg right there.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. Can we go on board Logesh, who's very close to Banat, if we can see him getting up to that P7 as of now? And that 3 seconds is definitely not going to help Aradhya. I'm not sure what was the need for him to push. He was very comfortably behind Pre the Pro there when getting the advantage of DRS there. I just think that he, for a second, thought that he can, just go for that P1 probably, and that is what led to 3 second penalty there.
Because Aradhya has always been super aggressive with his ERS. We saw this in China in the last race as well, where he was super low on ERS, but that's how he was able to, get that pace as well. He's super quick, super aggro with the ERS, but he gets the job done. So right now it's up to Helium and maybe even SD, because SD would have seen the 3 second penalty for Aradhya. So on track, he doesn't really have to make a move on Aradhya to get on that podium. So it's up to SD to make some moves. And while we're talking about moves, Logesh going down the inside of the Banat right now, who is on those hard tires. So he's also on the same tire strat as Aradhya right now.
Aradhya, yeah.
So yeah, pretty decent by him, because of course his teammate down in P11 now having a lot of fighting to do as well. So not too bad by these guys. Very decent and very clean race till now. A few spins here and there, but overall pretty good racing and very entertaining.
Yeah, and speaking of entertaining, we are now on board Kapil, who's very close to Dark Knight and Hasenberg there. And we should see how the tier 2 boys defend against the tier 1 driver.
Indeed, we are talking about consistency is key and everything, and these guys are showing that they are worthy of this tier as well. A bit of getting out of the slipstream right there by Kapil, and I think he's just maintaining those tires because these are pretty worn out. It's on the yellows right now, so yeah, he knows that he has to make these moves to get a few more points for Aston Martin, whatever thing. But yeah, for Alfa Romeo. But yeah, overall a pretty decent, looking at the constructors' point of view, a very decent race for the Ferrari boys.
Yes, definitely. Very good for them, in fact, for sure. But if we have a look for the second best, with this yellow flag for a second, no, I think it was just blue flag for Jose Hero, who has now been lapped by 4 cars. just not a good race for him after that extra pit that he had to do at the start of the race.
Indeed, and we have Akash right on the tail of SSJ Assassin as well. So yeah, this is going to be, again, only 4 laps left in the race after this. So yeah, we just have to see if Akash can make a late move on SSJ, or can SSJ hold off Akash, because he did make a move on Akash earlier on. So it's going to get interesting towards the end. And while we are talking about that, Helium has caught up almost to Aradhya by 1.4 seconds. So Pre is not really, just running away with this win, maybe saving a bit too much of ERS, where he can just dump it and get rid of Aradhya in that DRS train, because soon Helium will catch up to these guys and there'll be a 3-way fight for P1.
Yeah, definitely. What Pre can definitely do right now is, think of slowing down Aradhya, giving enough time for Real SD to catch up, and that time penalty is gonna do the work just after that.
Indeed, these guys are rivals, so maybe, a bit of strategy going on. But I just hope this doesn't really hamper his performance and his race, because yeah, you can try and get other people closer to your rival, maybe, get more points for them. But at the same time, if they take away points from you, that's going to be a big issue for these lot, especially for Pre in front, because he has been, has pretty decent pace till now, and just right behind Aradhya for the first stint, just 5 seconds between them, has taken the position off of Aradhya. But yeah, he does have 50% ERS. So coming up to the last, I think 3 or 4 laps, it's going to be super hard for Aradhya to keep Helium behind and Pre to keep all of these guys behind him.
Yeah, definitely. Helium is already within the DRS, and we do have 3 more laps of racing now. We just have to see how Helium is gonna uh, utilize that advantage of DRS now. Does he, try and think of getting that win in this situation?
Indeed, he has had the pace to, get the win over here. We did see him, having and we see, I think that is couple in the background, having a big spin and losing his front wing. It's a miracle that he was able to save the car from DNFing, but yeah, I think a bit of oversteer there, a snap of oversteer, and yeah, he does go into the wall, ruining his race. He will have to pit and probably lose 3 more positions, doing so.
I'll tell you what, Aradhya is definitely lucky that they are already into lap 27, and probably that is the reason why safety car did not come out. If had come out, then I would say he would have lost 3 positions at least for sure, because we just would have, we would have just 1 lap of racing, and the 3-second time penalty would have hit him really hard.
Indeed, and Aradhya still having the 3-second penalty, but SD just falling off, with the time right now, a 4-second gap to Helium, and he needs to get in at least 3 seconds of Aradhya to even get on the podium. So we see the top 3 on the screens right now. All of them have a shot at P1. And oh boy, this is getting interesting towards the final arena. This is the penultimate laps over here.
Yeah, and Helium is definitely getting closer and closer. It's probably in the second DRS zone that he can definitely think of getting the position from Aradhya there, which is now. Or he could have done is he should have probably saved some DRS and ERS, and just dump in a particular DRS section.
Indeed, whatever the case is, towards the end of this race, I really want to ask Pri what was going on through his head. Was this all strategy, or was he actually struggling on these mediums and not able to get away from Aradhya? Because even now, he has the most amount of ERS, but the thing that he won't have towards these, ending parts of the race is DRS. So it's like, yeah, they can just open the rear flap and get way more drag reduction. And maybe he's just running a lower wings compared to the other guys, and yeah, doing a very good job of keeping that lead from Aradhya and Helium.
Yeah, definitely. That is a good question that we do have to ask. And we see the color of his tires are somewhat, darker than it should be. I'm not probably the controller tax that is that he's having comparatively more wear on his tires than others there.
The one thing we have to keep in mind is that he did pit quite a lot earlier compared to Helium and SD. So
Right.
he does have more worn tires, but it has helped him to get the lead. And right behind him, we see Helium making a move on Aradhya. He does not want a P2. He wants to try and challenge for P1, but Pre has the 40% of ERS compared to Helium, who only has 2% right now. So can Pre hold on to P1? Was he, just backing Aradhya up a little too much for him to not, just take the P1? And SSJ and Akash going side by side as well. And what a move that is by Akash. Waited till the end of the race to make a move, but SSJ coming back at him with a bit more of ERS. Both the Ferraris have better ERS management compared to the rest of the field. And can we quickly just get back to the title fight the P1 fight? And I think Pre has this covered. He's super low on ERS now because he knows that Helium is right behind him. Aradhya did have a 3-second penalty, setting the purple for sector Pre right here. And that's definitely, just going a little slow for Aradhya, I guess.
Yeah, it does look like that. And just when he got the confirmation that Helium is ahead, he's just sending it, going for the fastest lap. We'll just have to wait and see if he does get that. He does have a red sector 2, but it's a great and comfortable win for Pre the Pro, getting the checkered flag, and he does get the finish line. P2 for Helium. Great stuff, great race from him as well. Aradhya getting the 3-second time penalty, gets the P3. That completes our podium.
And SD right behind them, 5/10 of Aradhya. He didn't really have the pace, towards the midsection of his stint, but does get the fastest lap right at the end. So a fantastic job there by SD. And he settles with, 1 extra point for the fastest lap. And it was super, super close for him. And, a very good job done by the T2 boys as well. Heisenberg 9th, Dark Knight 10th. And what a race this has been overall till now.
Yes, definitely. We do have couple to finish who is on softs. We just have to wait and see if he gets the fastest lap away from the top of the grid. And yeah, he's on purple sector 1. He's actually gonna snatch that point away from them. And the sector 2 purple, there we go. It should be a comfortable fastest lap for him, who completes the race, getting P14 in this round 1 of Tier 1 race.
Couple was unfortunate till now, had a few spins here and there, but yeah, pitting for the softs, had nothing to lose, gets a 1 extra point for the fastest lap, and what a drive by him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's not gonna get the fastest lap point because he has finished on P14, but he's gonna take that point away from the rest of the pack. For sure.
Indeed, and Pre getting the driver of the day as well. What a race by him. It will be, fun to just ask him a few questions in the podium interview that we'll have. So stay tuned, boys, for that as well. And yet again, Helium doing a very decent job of just staying consistent, having a good strategy as well. And yeah, towards the end, Pre knew what he was doing. At least it looked like that. And yeah, a very decent, kind of consistency by all of these guys. Put on a great show for us. We didn't really see any safety cars. These guys kept it clean, and what a race it was.
What a race indeed. It was very clean, pretty much clean. What we saw, no safety car is good. And even in terms of time penalties, except for Aradhya and Jose for the pit lane, it was pretty much very clean and within the track limits. While we're waiting for the, sorry to cut you off there, while we wait for the podium runners to join for the interview, we are just going to remind our viewers that you can also take part in our league racing by visiting our website, that is indianracingcommunity.co.in, signing up for the season, get the Discord link to join our server and have fun.
Well, the real life racing will be, we'll have to wait one more week for F1 to get back on track in, the next in Baku. So, but yeah, till then, we have some F1 content for you guys over here on IRC. And again, what a race this was. Throughout the field, we've had different kind of, races just going here and there, making a lot of moves, and overall, a very, very good job done by all of them. But yeah, ABD, while we are waiting for
Three.
Pre to join, would you like to start the interviews?
Uh, just give me 1 second. I think we just have to. We probably have to wait for him. Yeah. Let's give it. Yeah. Okay. We are now. We can start. So coming to P3, that is Arathya, if I'm not wrong. Hello, Arathya. How? Tell us something about the race. Moreover, tell us about the time penalty that you got. Anything about that you would like to share?
Yeah, well, the race was like like I was just trying to keep as fast as possible because I knew from start only that I will need to go opposite of P because of how much pace he has. P how fast he does generally. So I knew I needed to go something opposite, so that's why I chose medium as start. And then and then when I got on to he got into medium and caught up to me, just bottled a bit in front of him, and he was able to get an easy overtake, and then just wasn't used to driving it dirtier that much, so that's why keep running wide, and got ultimately got 3 warnings and then got a penalty behind him. And I was just hoping that Helium would catch up a bit faster because I was hoping that because my plan was I will just let Helium go because there was no way I was going to beat him. So that's why I was like, if he catches up fast, then maybe Pri and Helium will do something and I might be able to start with a win here. But still, but still happy with P3 because medium hard is not known, the best strategy around here, and still the fact that on hards I was able to keep that close to P, I'm still happy with it.
Fantastic job there by you, Aradhya. Again, you did have the pace on those mediums and almost 5 seconds before you went into the pits. So yeah, we were just expecting a lot of battling between you guys, and fantastic drive by you. Enjoy your P3.
Thanks.
Coming up to P2 now, which is Helium. Again, a fantastic drive for the Mercedes. Helium were very consistent and had a very decent battle with Real SD as well. What are your thoughts on this race? And I think
Yeah.
Helium is
Hello.
muted and wait. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, I think it was just that Pri and Aradhya got out of the.
I'm sorry, Helium, but we
Basically,
can't hear you right now.
hello.
Yeah, Helium, go ahead. Now we can hear
Basically,
you.
I feel like what the issue was lap one, and we got stuck behind SSJ, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
after that, it was just very hard to recover from anything. So I did well. Me and SD did our best basically to try and cover up the time lost, but it just didn't happen. So yeah, I can't say anything. That was a good race for me, but yes.
Yeah, you did get Aradhya at the end. Was super close to Pre as well. Congrats on the Pre
Yeah,
too, man.
thank you.
So yeah, so we are up to P1 now. Pre the Pro, yet again a fantastic drive by you. After the pits, you did pit a little early compared to the other guys. Had a perfect undercut, and towards the end, Aradhya was sticking right with you. So was there a strategy going on with that, just keeping Aradhya behind with a 3 second penalty so that the other guys catch up, or were you just maintaining the pace? What was going through your head?
No, so I wasn't like trying to keep Aradhya in my DRS. I was trying to slow start, but then I didn't have the pace, and I was just the whole race I was struggling a lot. Apart, I think maybe after the first 2 laps, where I was just about able to keep up with Aradhya. After that, I was really struggling a lot with my just the tires, the front grip that I had, front grip that I didn't have, and so that's why I couldn't really pull away from Aradhya. So, but I knew I was much faster than both him and I think Helium in a straight. So I wasn't too worried about being under pressure from them overtaking me, and I had more than enough here. I think I had like 50% TRS starting the final lap. So yeah, I wasn't really ever under pressure from being overtaken, but just struggled a lot with the grip, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, overall we did, go through all the drivers, and you had the maximum amount of ERS, and so did your teammates. So both the Ferraris were doing a great job of just saving ERS. And again, just congrats on the P1, a very consistent drive by you, and got super close till the end, towards the end. But yeah, overall, I guess a pretty good race for the Ferrari boys.
Yeah. Thank you.
That
But yeah,
completes our podium interviews. Anything to add up, Swagger?
no, continue, maybe.
Yeah, thank you for watching. You were watching IRC, and like I said, you can join us by visiting our website, get the rules, and we will see you next week for our Tier 1 race again on Sunday at the same time. Until then, take care. Goodbye.